Greetings and welcome to the RC Wallet Vacuum channel. In today's video, after a lot of work and a lot of money and waiting for months for the weather to change, it's finally gotten good enough that I'm going to give this 50cc Taylor a test fire and try it out in this Kraken LSE or Vekta 5 LSE. A couple things I still got to do yet, and I did a previous video on a dedicated receiver box for this vehicle. And I don't the battery, and I just don't the battery box to have that and a receiver in there is just going to be such a battle. So I built a dedicated receiver box that's going to sit in behind the battery box. I did a previous video on it, and since I did a video, I went through back to the CAD and did some design changes, and it's mostly the same. I went through and changed the specs on the cover to open up a little bit, and I've put some hexes up underneath there, so I can pull some 3mm nylon lock nuts up there. And I also went through and redid the way the printer slicer worked and for supports. I still got all that stuff in there, so I got to go through and do some post-processing on that, and I'll be back to show you how that was modified. The other thing I'm going to do yet is I'm changing the upper links to these IRP chromoly ends, and I'm also replacing the sway bar links with also IRPs. So let me do some post-processing on that box, and I'll be right back. So I got all the supports pulled off of there now, and I don't know if the camera's going to show up in there, but there's a hex. There's a hex up in there on either side, and I'll just pull a 3mm nylon lock nut up in there and cover down on there. And like I said, I did open up the specs a little bit on the cover, so it goes in there a lot smoother. And the Spectrum radio just drops right in there, and the antenna is going to come up out of this side part here with the tube drop in there. That should be a lot of fun feeding that through there, but that's what it's going to take. And then this over here, I got to mill out some rubber that's going to drop in there, and that's where the servo lines are going to go through into the box. So this will sit in here all by itself. And then the battery will be in it by itself. Well, I'll have the kill switch will be in with the battery, but I like to take the batteries in and out every time I run the thing and to try to fight with this receiver at the same time. And coincidentally enough, there's a spot just inside behind the battery box where this will fit in there nice. It drops in there, and the tube should come up just inside of the pipe, or so it's clear where this one was going to hit this stock one was going to hit the battery box. So I'll get the cover, gets it on there, and it's out of carbon fiber reinforced nylon, so it should take the heat with no problem in there. So let me finish getting that installed in there, get these links put in place. I got a few other details on the electronics in here, and I did get the pipe painted. I ended up spraying it with that VHT paint. I was debating whether to do Cerakote, but I just decided to go with this for now. So let me get this stuff all put back together, and we'll get her gassed up and see if I can get this bitch fired up. So as I'm finalizing some of these details, the one FYI for anybody who's going to do something similar with this size engine and this chassis, that the stock fuel kit that comes with the LSE kit, the lines won't reach, at least the fuel line. Well, the pulse line was close, but the fuel line wouldn't. So I switched over to this full force kit, and it has the brass elbows into the tank. It's a little bit of a trick to install, but it looks like it worked pretty well. I had to really route the wire. The fuel line is way in behind frame members because, as you can see, the pipe gets in there and causes quite a bit of interference. I probably will end up wire tying them down. I'll probably eventually also get some kind of wire loom to put up on that line where it runs up under the frame there. But for now, that'll work. So off to the next issue. So over here I have this is another FYI. Eventually I'm going to replace this steering servo arm and these upper links and all this other stuff with aluminum. But for now I'm just going to run stock. But anyhow, the point is, this arm, in order to get this servo arm in there perpendicular with the servo itself, I ended up having to cut about a 1/4 inch off of this one rod end to be able to get that threaded in there all the way. So other than that, it looks to be all right. And then the box is in here now, receiver box. And luckily enough, or coincidentally enough, this the antenna tube I get right on the other side of that linkage, throttle linkage, and when the pipe comes out of there, everything clears, and it's a little bit of planning and a lot of luck, and so that should take care of that issue. So off to the next. Oh, and I did end up I just put the receiver in here, and then the LED for the kill switch and the kill switch triac circuit board is going to be glued to the top of this, and that's going to be the layout for that. I'm just going to fire this thing up. I'm going to get the kill switch installed, but I'm not going to hook it up so I can fire it up on the bench, test it, and before it hits the ground, I'll actually put the kill switch in, just in case I have some kind of issue. But I don't want to have the kill switch in when I'm doing the first fire up, just so I know it ain't something I got wrong with the kill switch or a faulty kill switch. So let me finish that, and then the next thing hopefully will be starting it. So one last final change I made on it before running is I upgraded the brakes to them RCRs. The stock brake thing seems kind of sketchy. So I got the 110 VP and some HP2 Honda oil mixed up in a 20-to-1 mix. And I get one last look at this thing before I ruin it. And then we'll get it fired up. So it's all gassed up and ready to go. I just gotta drop the microphone gain so it doesn't overwhelm the camera, and then give it a couple tries. So obviously it fired up, and it seems like it started really well. It's going to run really well. I'm going to run a couple more heat cycles on it, and then load it up on the Ranger and take it up on the track and give it a test on the track. So stick around. So we're up here now at the future site of the RC Wall Vacuum 5th scale short course truck track. What do I say in that one fast? It covers an area of several acres up here. Unfortunately, there's no natural terrain to really work with other than flat, so I got to build all the jumps and berms, but that's what a four-wheel drive tractor with a bucket is going to do. Hopefully I can do that next weekend. So there's going to be a shitload of switchbacks down through there, and berms and jumps down by that one maple tree there. There's going to be a large bermed wall, and that'll link over to, well, in behind there. And then all the switchbacks, there'll be a straightaway running down the middle, and then all the switchbacks will have jumps. It'll jump over the straightaway, and then it'll loop up through here, and then work its way down into this area. And there's a natural banked curve up here, and that'll work all the way around, and then just loop back through. So for today, I'm just going to play around out in this open area. I do have a 10th scale / 5th scale, modified to 5th scale, I should say, track down in the woods. I might take it down in there depending on how it runs. And then over here, I built for my wife a 10 scale freestyle track, a lot of jumps and berms. But I ain't going there today with this one. So all in all, its maiden voyage went really well. I was expecting to have more problems. I wasn't sure if the slipper clutch was set right and all kinds of other things. The only thing I had happen is the front left shock came apart, drained the fluid. I had to go down and fix that. And then it looks like the thing's going to be like maybe 2 laps to the tank full because it's a thirsty girl. I only put like 3/4 of a tank in it. I just did a couple heat cycles of it in the shop, came up here and did a couple laps, and it crapped out on me. I thought maybe I was overheating from the break-in, and I looked and it's basically out of gas, so she's thirsty. But all in all, it seems to be running really well. I'm pretty happy with it. Thanks for watching.